This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. There is so much news right now that I'm going to focus on a couple of things here and just bear with me. But at the end of the day, Brian Niccol and Starbucks, this guy knows his business better than almost anybody else. Now, Starbucks reported slowing sales, but that's certainly on his watch. He's brand new after coming up over from Chipotle. But what he says is essentially things that we all know. You know, they forced the baristas to put the cream and sugar in, and this was a cost savings plan because it stopped all the wastage of the cream, the sugar, the half and half, the milk, and all that kind of stuff. What Brian realizes, he's the brightest guy in the game. He realizes it all starts with keeping his teams happy, his baristas happy. Do you know how annoying it must be for a barista looking in a long line to add more complexity to organizing and putting those drinks out? That just seems like a disaster versus periodically having to clean up that cream and milk area and that sugar station. He says essentially we're going to call this the Back to Starbucks plan. And I'm watching an article written by Brooke DePalma at Yahoo Finance, just a brilliant writer. And he basically says we're going back to the basics. We're going to be maniacal about it. A return to basics, better pricing, simpler menu, faster service. The guy just knows what he's doing, like CEOs should know what they're doing. He understands that the game is about simplification, slowing down the pace of menu innovation, to try and improve things all the way along. I think there's probably very few people that are as bright as Brian in the business today, and he seems to show it day in, day out. He's one of those CEOs you hear talk, you see speak, you see what they're saying, and you're like, got it. He's exactly right. And I think that's where Brian Niccol is at. Thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. We can't tell you how much you appreciate it. Always text at any time, 773-766-5322 with ideas and so forth. Thank you very, very much for listening.